And definitely one to look forward to. And Frank Lampard's first Merseyside derby at Goodison Park as well. What kind of form do you think Everton come into this game in, Karen? And is it actually a good time to be facing Liverpool with their rocky start to the season?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to play him. I think being at home is massive. You know, we saw what it did last season from the crowd. And I think Lampard has done really well getting the crowd behind him and then believing him in that and that'll be a real force for them in this derby this weekend coming. So, but I think Liverpool, yes, they've had that emphatic win, but there's still issues with the midfield. They're still not connecting as well. But I think it is a good time to play them.
They come into the game, though, off the back of a late win against Newcastle in the week, Liverpool. How much will that have boosted their confidence coming into this game? Winning a game late as players must be one of the best feelings that you can have. So to take that into the next match, they'll come into it with a fair bit of confidence, won't they, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they hadn't scored that goal, we'd be having a different conversation now. I think the mood around the training ground will be different. You know, I'm sure they still know that what they need to be doing. They definitely still know they need to be better because they've lost a little bit of that spark. I'm sure they'll get it back, but they have lost it for now. But to get that, it's just a big boost, isn't it? Because if they hadn't, you'd be talking about what's going on with Liverpool. What are they missing? Are they missing Mane? All these conversations. But to get that, it just kind of lifts the pressure a bit.
What is that mood like then, Karen, when you win a game so late?
We just saw the celebrations. It's just bit of relief. Then you've obviously got it's just that manner, and we look at them. That might be the best thing for them. That morale, just doing it, and at home as well. It was just. So, and Newcastle have been doing really, really well. So it's not like it was against like an easy side or, you know, it was a great result for them and timely. And maybe this will give them the confidence as well because it hasn't been easy for them. But nevertheless, it's still a Merseyside derby.
Yeah, the fact they came from behind in that match to win it as well because Newcastle scored first. They're also boosted by the fact that they have Darwin Núñez returning. He's now served his 3-match suspension for that red card. So how much of a boost is that to Liverpool as well? Do you think he starts the game? Because Bobby Firmino has been starting in his place and he's done pretty well.
Yeah, Firmino's been unbelievable. But with Klopp, he does like to change things around. I think he doesn't play Henderson or Fabinho in more than 3 games in a row. Maybe that's why Fabinho was on the bench at United, which seemed unusual. But he does kind of have these patterns in terms of rotations and keeping everybody fresh. So personally, from the outside, I'd probably think, keep Firmino. But with the Champions League starting again, maybe they will rotate. But the only thing about Núñez is he got riled fairly easily, which was strange because of where he's come from. Uruguay, he's had it difficult in the past. He's played against top centre-backs in the past. But he got riled so much, sent off. And then you play Everton in the kind of environment we've been talking about. You start thinking, well, how's he going to handle that? I would go with Firmino because he's been so good. But, you know, if Klopp makes those changes, it wouldn't really be a surprise.
Yeah, is that fiery temper something to worry about, Karen?
I mean, Liverpool don't have history of kind of red cards in that manner under Jurgen Klopp. It is a non-negotiable for him, so he would have been disappointed in that. So I think Núñez is going to learn very quickly at that sending off. So I don't see that happening again. But you're right, it is a Merseyside derby. If you've got a weakness, you try and provoke it and try and get a reaction from it. But I don't think he'll do it again. But I have to agree, Bobby's been doing really well, especially in those little pockets, picking them up, and he's right on form. So maybe not. Could he play both? Who's to say?
Another positive is that Jota returns and is likely to be on the bench for Liverpool in this game. How much have they missed having him as an option?
Yeah, again, with Firmino stepping in, he's not really been the problem. There's just something with Liverpool. I don't know if it's the intensity. I don't know if it's concentration on the defence. They're just missing something a little at both ends. So the season they won the league, I saw City drop off quite a bit at both ends. They were still fine. They finished second, scored more than 100 goals, most clean sheets. But there was just something a little bit different. And that's how I see Liverpool at the moment. I don't know if it's Jota because of his ability to crop up and score goals out of nothing. But like I say, Firmino's been doing okay with that. So it'd be good to have the option going into these Champions League games again. It helps keep everything fresh. I wouldn't necessarily say they've missed him. I think there's other things going on, whatever they may be. But obviously, it's good to have everybody back. But who you'd want to have back is just the midfielders.
Yeah.
Get those midfielders back and it's a different story.
OK. Mood around the club at the moment being really positive, which surprised us all, actually, because they've had 3 draws in a row. They're yet to win this season. And from us looking in at the club, it looks as though maybe Frank Lampard could potentially be under a bit of pressure, Karen. But actually, that just goes to show that what we see is completely different to what happens within a club.
But that's what I was on about to you earlier. I think Lampard's done a really good job of associating himself with the fans and getting them on board. And he seems like from that interview, he's got the same with the players, that it's probably been tricky for them. There's been a lack of goals, right? They haven't won yet, but internally they feel like they're in a good place. And if that's the way it is, then that's a positive in itself. But they've got to, I mean, Demarai Gray's attacking player. They need to start creating. They need to score more goals. That's been a big issue for them. So he'll have to step up at the weekend.
One of the positives of the transfer window for Everton is probably holding on to Anthony Gordon, who they've really needed this season, and he's certainly proven his worth to Everton, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, we saw the clips there, not just the goal in midweek, but he played a couple of really good through balls as well. There was one that was offside, there was one that I think was easily saved in the end, but his awareness and his vision and his execution is really good. You can see why they wanted to keep hold of him, even for a fee that most people thought they should probably cash in. But they're going to need him because with Everton's results, and particularly their performances, the last two, they go large spells of games with the other team having the ball. They got absolutely battered by Brentford. Brentford scored late, but it was the absolute least they deserved. And Liverpool, although they haven't quite clicked yet, they still dominate those games. They dominated Crystal Palace, they dominated Man United. They didn't get the results they wanted, but if Everton let them do that, I think Everton are going to have big problems.
And we could see Neil Maupay make his first start or even his first appearance for Everton in a Merseyside derby, and he's the sort of character that will relish that opportunity.
Well, he's popped up in some derby games already, didn't he, previously when he was at Brighton? Some important goals last minute as well, I believe, against Palace. So, yeah, look, he'll be well up for it. And I know Demarai as well, been at Birmingham against Villa as well. So a lot of the players have played in massive games against derby. So, but Maupay, I'm really interested to see how he gets on, actually. I think that obviously, like I said, they need goals. You know, he needs to step up as well and bring that to this Everton side.
Is he a good signing for Everton, Sam?
I guess we'll see. They definitely needed something, didn't they? They definitely did. When Chelsea were trying to get Gordon, there was talk of Brozier going there. I think he's better than Brozier, but he's not especially prolific, is he? He's one of those endless list of Brighton strikers who's good overall, but not prolific at putting the ball in the net. And Everton definitely do need somebody to bring the goals. I guess we'll see. But you can see him being the character that they need for the weekend, for sure.